This series is sponsored by OMNI Hockey, where hockey is for all, and we welcome you to be a part of it. OMNI Hockey is a place to unite the hockey community, share in collaborative conversations, and empower those involved with connections, tools, and resources.
We're on the bank of the Seine River, just outside Happy Land Park in St. Boniface. It's just the backyard on the river, but it's a really beautiful spot to entertain, be outside in nature, kind of feel what winter can be all about, the good stuff. The temperature changes overnight. These 10 or 15 degrees Celsius swings, and the natural ice on the river flexes. So these cracks open up. When you catch your skate on it, when you're battling somebody for the puck, you can go for a tumble, and it's shinny, so we don't have our helmets or knee pads or elbow pads or things on all the time. So it's just kind of a safety to make it a little smoother. And every day that you get a big temperature change, you have to come back out and see what kind of shape it's in. It's the amount of work that it takes to keep these cracks in good shape is really why I put the second rink on shore, because it doesn't have the same pressure crack problem. You can work on making it in really good shape, but you have to learn to appreciate that the natural ice has a different feel to it. We don't use any fossil fuels on this rink. We have an electric snowblower that I run through 250 feet of cord, 12 gauge cord, and a 20 amp breaker so that I can run it out to the corners of my rink. And we use an electric water pump. And you know, we don't try not to buy any plastics either. We're doing what we can to keep this rink responsible. But yeah, it was definitely an entry point to talk to people about how things are changing and how we need to adjust. This ice hasn't been resurfaced or flooded or hardly anything. This is basically, I spray it a tiny little bit. So this is the river as it was when it started to freeze. You know, and those first few skates are really, really magical. And as you go along, I think that in this instance, staring at the forest, whether it's, you know, beautiful evenings or afternoons when we've got this beautiful light, but even skating at night, you know, we have lights out here, but they turn off right around 9 on the timer, and sometimes you'll be down here and the lights will turn off. And then you're still skating around, you know, staring at the stars and the moon coming up over in that direction. It's a totally different feel It's quiet. There'll be critters out here, the fox trotting down the river while you're skating. It's magic. It's absolutely magic to be out and experiencing this. This is the 4th winter I've been in this house on the river, and so the very first winter, we had a huge storm, the October storm. Snow came down, brought trees down, but the river froze at about this height. And so the whole forest was flooded, and as we got the cold temperatures, a sheet of ice formed in the forest. And that sheet of ice got thicker, and it got thick enough for us to walk on and skate on. And so my son and I were spending our time in the forest skating, and we realized this was a special experience that we wanted to take advantage of. So we shoveled trails on the ice and learned how to put lines on the ice and curl that first year and throw some milk jugs. And we learned what it took to flood and to make little drag zambonis to resurface the ice. And as the river level went down all winter, the ice sheet settled onto the forest floor, and it settled over top of logs and stumps. And so we actually had hills, banked corners. You go down a corner and then you had to skate uphill, and people aren't used to skating uphill. So that was a really amazing experience. Well, that's the end of the work pants. Yeah, that first, like when you stare at the ice after you've done a quick spray flood and it's glistening and it's flat and you know that you're going up to put the pumps away, and in 20 minutes time you're coming out to get tracks. And those first cuts, the ice is very dark. It's not the white ice that you find in an arena, and you see those first cuts in the snow spray, and you know, you do some spins and you know, and crossovers and things like that, and the puck is just flying along the ice. There's a lot of joy in that from a, you know, from a skating perspective, from the just feeling how you dig your legs in to make your corners, and it's really special. This spray one is the fastest to just give you a nice clean surface, deal with the imperfections from some hard skating for a few days. Or it is a lot easier to flood this in daylight, so you can see all the little angles. Doing it under the floodlights works, but there's a lot of imperfections that you can't sort of try and solve. None of it is professional ice. You learn from experience when you've put enough water on so that it'll self-level. And then if you put too much water on snow, then it'll pockmark, and then you put too much water on a slope and you'll end up with ripples from a downflow. Every one of them is an experience, but my very first time getting a pail of water from the house, carrying it down the hill and pouring it onto a bumpy section, my son and I, we were thinking we were just going to smooth out one little 3-foot by 3-foot section, and the water just ran off of it, left ripples, and froze, and we didn't get any smoother ice. And we're like, okay, there's more to this than flooding. So, but yeah, it's a good escape. It's a good feeling to get it right, to get the water done well. Rules for us playing one-on-one, which was a lot of games, especially over the pandemic, was you have to get it through the other player's legs. You got to 5-hole the player before you're allowed to shoot it into their net. And you have to retain possession of the puck, or at least they aren't allowed to get possession of the puck. Otherwise, you have to put it through their legs again before you're allowed to score. And then once you scored, you have to go back over the red line and wait on your side until they bring the puck over the red line. And we're both competitive, so we pay attention to those things. For a while there, I had the longer reach, and he's getting taller. I mean, I'm still better, but... It's a good winter. Yeah, I'm really hoping that it can stretch into March and we can have some really nice days before the river comes up and I lose the rinks. So it's been a really nice year to have as much set up as I have so far. To have this space to just settle down, to bring people, right? So our house is very small, but we can have people over. Being out on the ice is a sort of escapism. It's a bit of therapy as well. And we love being outside, and a lot of our friends maybe don't spend as much time outside. So we're kind of teaching and encouraging them to find that joy in winter and find that escape and a little bit of relaxation outside.
This series is sponsored by OMNI Hockey, where hockey is for all, and we welcome you to be a part of it. OMNI Hockey is a place to unite the hockey community, share in collaborative conversations, and empower those involved with connections, tools, and resources.